Rites of War is a little bit of an oddball entry into the pantheon of video games based around the Warhammer 40,000 universe. This is the first Warhammer 40,000 game that has you focusing on playing as one of the many Xenos races within the universe, taking on the role of an Eldar commander as you embark on a mission to reclaim the maiden world of Davernus in the name of Craftworld Eandon. As stated just now, you take the role of an Eldar commander from Craftworld Eandon. The Craftworld Seers have rediscovered one of the Maiden Worlds, ancient worlds terraformed by the ancient Eldar race to be used as colonies, which is now being claimed by the Imperium. You are then tasked by one of the Farseers, and by using a variety of troops including Guardians, Harlequins, Viper jetbikes, and even the mighty Aspect Warriors to battle the forces of the Imperium, including the Imperial Guard, Sisters of Battle, and even the Blood Angel Space Marine chapter. However, later on, you find out that the planetary government has been tainted by gene stealers, and are forced to join forces with the Imperium to fight against the encroachment of a Tyrannid hive fleet. While the story is pretty basic, the fact that it involves technically 6 different factions — Eldar, Space Marines, Imperial Guard, Sisters of Battle, Gene Stealer cults and Tyrannids — makes it a pretty cool collection for the time, especially as the last few games were Imperium vs Chaos, or Imperium vs Orcs, or Imperium vs Gene Stealers, or Imperium vs Gene Stealers. Graphically, the game's art style is pretty nice to look at. The battlefields themselves look as if they were painted by hand as opposed to being done by a computer, and the character models are, for the time, nicely detailed. However, the animation is a bit, well, wibbly, and the scale is off by a country mile. You have Harlequins towering over Leman Russ battle tanks, Imperial Guard soldiers the size of trees, and overall, it just looks as if everyone is fighting on top of someone's gigantic model railway set, or if everyone's Godzilla-sized. Firstly, can I just say, fuck this game's volume options. There are no sliders in the game to adjust the levels of music or sound effects. You either get full blast or silence. That said, the music in this game is amazing, sounding suitably regal at certain points, and even providing a decent amount of atmosphere. The sound effects are another issue entirely. Most of the sound effects seem either very generic or even inappropriate for the most part, and my god, the Warlock's protection spell. The sound will bore into your very skull and haunt you for days afterwards. However, the chainswords sound suitably brutal, and the heavy walkers sound suitably stompy when they move. Battles are done within a turn-based format, and individual units move around a hexagonal grid across the map. To attack other units, you need to bring your units in range, which, in this case, is normally right next to the enemy, or maybe one space further away if you're using heavy weapons units like Dark Reapers. When you select your target in combat, it gives you a little indicator through some weird formula of how well your unit will fare against the enemy. Some units are unable to attack others entirely, resulting in what would normally be terrifying units, such as Gene Stealers or Assault Terminators, being extremely easy pickings for jump troops such as Swooping Hawks. Units gain experience through each battle they survive, and once they have leveled up enough, can be either promoted into Aspect Warriors in the case of Guardians, or even be promoted into more powerful units such as Exarchs or Farseers, who seemingly can tear through anything with ease. Missions have a nice amount of variety to them, forcing you to either kill every single enemy unit, to then take and hold a certain objective, or even kill a certain specific unit. That being said, this game does not forgive you for your mistakes. The learning curve is rather steep, and you need to keep your troops alive. If they die, they're gone for good. And enemy units are notorious for utilising cheap tactics, or firing at you when you can't see them before running off before you can retaliate. Overall, this game is worth checking out if you want to play a 40k video game as something other than the Imperium of Man, and while not amazing and a bit of a slog in the early going, it does end up being rather enjoyable later on. This game, in my personal opinion, is middle of the road. Not bad, but nothing special either. You can find it pretty cheap these days too on sites like GOG if you're interested. And yes, the version from GOG at least does work with Windows 10, unlike Final Liberation and Chaos Gate. So check it out for yourself. This has been Remleiz, and I hope you enjoyed this review. Bye bye.